Hey everyone and welcome. I'm Dylan Stewart, the North Star Man, and I'm coming to you today with a wrap-up of 2 days of lessons. That's right, I missed my post yesterday, and it wasn't without trying, and it wasn't without effort, but despite it all, I was not able to get in front of a camera yesterday to do day 22. And as a result, I learned something, which I'm going to share with you guys, which is actually my tip for day 22. So again, I'm Dylan Stewart. I'm the North Star Man. Today, we've got 2 lessons for you. Lesson 22 and lesson 23. Lesson 22, simply put, everybody needs and deserves a break. You know, I've gone over the last 120, 130 days, I've gone on Facebook Live a lot, and I have gone across multiple days without missing a day, almost 30 in a row. And yet yesterday I missed one. That sucks, right? I want to get down on myself. I want to get in my face and be like, you could do better. Oh, you missed it. You screwed up. But the reality is I knew what I was doing. Yesterday was a day with so many things piled on top, so many things that needed to get done and needed to get accomplished that there was almost no way to cover all of it. And something had to fall. At a certain point, as I was tired at the end of my day and I was trying to get myself amped up to get on camera, I just realized, you know what? I'm just going to take a break today. And the world's going to keep spinning and the world's going to keep moving. And that was a great lesson for me. So that was yesterday's lesson, brought to you today because I didn't do it yesterday. But today's lesson is just as important. You know, I was about to drive home from work and I have had this light on my dashboard that says that I've got a low tire pressure. And I got a little concerned about it because it's raining here in Los Angeles and I didn't really want to crash my car. Go figure. So as I'm about to head over Topanga Canyon, which is this big, long, windy mountain pass that goes from West Los Angeles to where I live in the valley, I decided I'd stop at a gas station and put some air in the tire. And I stopped at the gas station and I looked at the tire and there was a tack in it about that big. And I thought to myself, you know, this tire's had the tack in it for a couple of days and the tire's been okay. I should just leave the tack in and drive over the hill. And therein lies one of the lessons. So I'm going to bring up my board again. I'm going to say, tip number 22, everybody needs and deserves a break. But tip number 23, sometimes you've got to step backwards to go forwards. So I'm looking at this tack in my tire and I'm thinking, if I pull this tack out, the tire is going to be really flat really quickly. But if I drive over this windy mountain pass and the tack comes out on its own because it's just a tack, I'm going to be in even worse shape. So I walk into the gas station, I get a little tire repair kit, which I've never had to use before. So just the process of learning how to use this felt like an exercise in futility in itself. I single-handedly am going to save my own tire. Seems silly as hell. So, but I managed to do it, and I managed to pull the tack out, and immediately the tire goes and the tire is dead flat. I'm like, okay, now I got to figure this out. And I get the little tool together, and I plug up the hole, and realize as I learn how to do this, that this is a lot like life, that you'll walk around with these tacks in your tire, with these situations, with these holes in who you are that are preventing you from being your best, and we just kind of ignore them. We just get to the point where we're just like, whatever, it's a tack, it's been there for 2 weeks, it's not getting any better, it's not getting any worse, I'll just leave it in. And you don't realize the damage that that tack in your life, in your heart, in your soul is really doing. So what I want to really connect you to is the idea that sometimes you got to yank out that tack and it's going to hurt and the tire is going to quicker than you can even imagine, but you got to do it. And why do you have to do it? Because if you leave that tack in there and things get worse, man, you got a whole other problem. So I managed to get the tack out and I managed to get the hole sealed and I managed to inflate the tire and it went and it was connected and it was perfect, and the little air pressure warning on my car dashboard went out, and I got in the car and I drove over this windy mountain pass, a little afraid the whole way that the plug was going to come loose, but I made it home and I feel so much better that I took care of what needed to be done before driving that road. And even though it was scary to pull that tack out, and it hurt the car at least, and scared me a little bit because I didn't know if I was going to be able to fix the tire, in the long run, that's the right thing to do. So sometimes you've got to take that step backwards. You've got to pull out that tack. You've got to do what doesn't seem to make sense in order to get yourself into the next phase and get yourself set up with where you want to go in your life. Does that relate to you? Have you ever had a tack in your car tire, metaphorically? Have you ever had some issue that you have just been ignoring and letting fester and assuming that it'll go away on its own, and it doesn't, and it gets worse? This is your wake-up call. It's time to pull the tack out. It's time to stop being less than you could be. It's time to stop assuming that that little problem left alone is less damaging than fixing it. And when I think about the things that I'm fixing, I'm looking at stuff about myself, and about my heart, and about my being, who I am and how I am and what I'm showing up as and what I'm doing in this life. And the end result is I will pull out every goddamn one of those tacks if I have to. Every one of them, one after another, and I will let every tire in my life go flat so that I can plug those holes, get my car back up on 4 healthy tires, and get back on the road. That's what I want you to think about. Pop into the comments section anytime that you felt like there was something just holding you back from being your best and you wanted to ignore it. Or anytime that you did pull out one of those tacks, and obviously I'm talking metaphorically, not literal tacks, unless you've pulled out a lot of literal tacks, in which case stop driving over tacks, I guess. But tell me a time when you pulled out one of those tacks and it seemed like it was going to really make things worse, but actually it made it better. Maybe it was telling your spouse or loved one that secret you didn't really want to share, or fixing that issue at home, or doing that thing at work where you got up and you turned to your boss and you just said, you know what, this job isn't for me, and you walked out that door. Whatever it is, whatever it took for you to get over yourself, over that one barrier, and into the next phase of your life, that's what I want to hear about. Carlos, welcome. Thanks so much. Lindsay, thanks so much for joining. I'm going to close this out, remind you that yesterday's video, you're going to have to count this video as part of it because that's what I'm doing. I took the day off yesterday. So lesson 1, everybody needs and deserves a break sometime. Don't beat yourself up about it. If you don't make it to the gym that one day, it's okay. Get right back into it. But allow yourself to enjoy that break. And lesson number 2, sometimes you got to pull the damn tack out and make everything worse in order to make it better. It's just like that splinter. It's about there are these situations in our life where we just want to deal with that splinter and ignore it. And then you pull it out and it hurts, but then it can heal. I'm Dylan Stewart. I'm the North Star Man. You can follow me on my Facebook page. All of the videos that you've seen from this and the last lessons that we did, all of those are being loaded up onto the Facebook page. So you should like that page, because at a certain point I'm going to stop doing this on the normal Facebook feed and only do it through my business page, North Star Man. And secondly, you can go to northstarman.com. We're finishing up that website. There's a way you can subscribe to my newsletters and find out a little bit more about me and who I am and what I do. And also, of course, the videos are up there as well. I'm Dylan Stewart. I'm the North Star Man. Today was simultaneously day 22 and day 23. So there. I make the rules so I can do it any way I want to do it. I'm Dylan Stewart. I want to thank you for watching. Have yourself a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. See you then.